Now everyone's making pasta chips. The first time I had them was like 10 years ago at Del Posto, an Italian restaurant in New York City, and it was at the bar, and they served it like a bar snack. The proper way something like this should be. And I asked the bartender, how did they make these? And they gave me the basic rundown, and there is a trick that it doesn't seem like anyone's covering. So today we're gonna make Pecorino pasta chips, and the trick starts with cooking the pasta. So to get started, I'm just gonna add some salt to a pot of water and bring it up to a boil. Then I'm gonna add 1/3 pound of penne. And we're just gonna cook that as normal, but the trick I was told is that you have to overcook the pasta. Whereas a lot of people are saying to cook it to al dente, and there seems to be a big difference in my opinion. The package of this penne said to cook for 11 minutes, so I'm gonna cook this for about 15. And in Italian terms, anything past al dente is considered overcooked. Once we've got it overcooked, we're gonna rinse it under some cold water to cool it down and to also rinse off some excess starch, similarly to how we rinse off the excess starch of potatoes for French fries. Now let's talk about al dente real quick. This is 2 minutes before al dente. This is normally when I pull it and throw it into the sauce. 1 minute before al dente. This is al dente, and this is how everyone's telling you to make pasta chips, like normal pasta. But you still get this band of raw al dente starch in there that's no good for frying. So if this is perfect for regular pasta, it's not perfect for pasta chip. And now everything after this point is considered overcooked. This is 1 and 2 minutes after al dente, overcooked, and this is fully overcooked. No starch ring around the pasta. The pasta's fully hydrated. This one that's fully cooked and fully hydrated, that's gonna fry up so much better than if we cook it to al dente. Just really lightly dry them. You don't have to go too crazy. Just some of that excess water off of it. Into the sheet tray, some olive oil. These are gonna go in the refrigerator. I want them to firm up a little bit. You know, some of that starch is gonna firm up, and then what we can do is fry them up, and they're gonna fry really crispy, and then we can season them. I'm just gonna take some frying oil and I'm gonna fill up a big Dutch oven about 1/4 of the way up. You never wanna fill a pot up more than halfway when frying. So while we get our oil up to temperature, we chill the pasta, and then I'm just gonna strain out some Pecorino cheese really fine so it coats the pasta really well. Just run the cheese through a mesh strainer just to break up any big clumps and to make sure it's a really fine consistency. Why Pecorino cheese? When you think Pecorino, think salt. So when you think of a chip, if you had the choice between Parmigiano Reggiano and Pecorino Romano, Pecorino is gonna bring the salt. It's probably a better suited cheese for this. It's gonna bring a lot of flavor. It's gonna be delicious. I could just eat plain pasta all day. It's so delicious. So they've been chilled, they're harder, fully cooled. They have a little bit of oil on the outside so they don't stick. So these are gonna fry up really nice. We just got our oil coming up to like a 350-degree frying temp, and then we're ready to fry. Once we get our oil up to temperature, just like frying anything, we're gonna go slow in small batches. And like potato chips, we're just gonna try and introduce them to the oil one at a time. Otherwise, there's a propensity for them to sort of clump together and stick. We wanna get them in the oil, and then we wanna not touch them. A few edges might stick to each other, but once they firm up, they'll be easy to sort of snap apart, and you'll be left with these beautiful pasta chips. Just cook them to a nice golden brown, and as you'll see, they sort of have this rough, puffed up texture, these little blisters that you get. That's gonna be the thing that helps the cheese grip to it and make a really nice chip. Just keep cooking them in batches, letting them dry on a wire rack, and just make your way through frying all of the pasta. Now you see this crispiness? It's not burnt, it's not brittle, it's just a beautiful chip. So good. Now you just want to toss the pasta in the pecorino. And with the pecorino dusted so fine, what you'll find is you get a little bit of those holes filled with the pecorino cheese, and it's going to go a long way in flavoring and seasoning the pasta chips. The pecorino sets it off to another level. So like maybe you're having guests over, or you're having a party, or you're watching a movie instead of making popcorn, you make some pasta chips. Really can't be beat. Recipes down in the description. Hit that like button. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself. If you want to learn more about pasta, I've got tons of recipes. There's 4 on the screen right now. You really should click on one.